So, a special initiative has been planned where welfare stamps for lawyers would be rolled out. Could you tell us more about this?
As of now, there is a Advocate Welfare Fund Act, in which a welfare stamp is affixed on every wakalatnama. But as far as the Supreme Court is concerned, it has a very unique position that although under the same act, a welfare stamp is affixed on every wakalatnama, the money by no way can come back for the benefit of Supreme Court lawyers. So looking at this anomaly, the Supreme Court Bar Association decided to file a petition and say that if the Act cannot in any manner bring that money back for lawyers of the Supreme Court, and if it is to go for doing the welfare of the Delhi Bar Council, which is a very different set of lawyers, because Supreme Court by its very nature has lawyers from all over the country and they could be registered in bar councils of various states. So it is not possible that this money could have come for the benefit of Supreme Court lawyers. So what we've ultimately done is that we have actually filed a petition saying that firstly, any stamp which is being affixed on a wakalatnama in Supreme Court, that money should not go to the Delhi Bar Council. And since in that act, which is already there is no way that the Supreme Court advocates can be accommodated, because the association there is defined as an association of the high courts of the states and not a national association like the Supreme Court. So there is no way by which in that act the Supreme Court Bar Association can be sort of inserted. So we have said that we should have a similar provision in the Supreme Court rules, so that there is a fixation of welfare stamp provided for in the Supreme Court rules, and that money can go for the benefit of the lawyers of the Supreme Court. And when I say lawyers of Supreme Court, you don't think of the affluent lawyers practicing in Supreme Court. There are a large number of lawyers who come on buses, had difficulty in the COVID time even to pay the fees of their children. Some of them, even Supreme Court lawyers, were actually pulling rickshaws during COVID. I know for sure some lawyers were flying auto rickshaws in Delhi. They had to take out their children from these public schools and take them to government schools. They were not able to pay their rents during the COVID period. So we're talking of those kind of lawyers of Supreme Court. Those kind of lawyers need statutory intervention as far as taking care of their needs in times of distress is concerned. And this money which will be collected, we are also proposing that it should be, in a separate fund, which will be disbursed, or money from that fund would be utilized only on the basis of a committee of which the Chief Justice of India will be the head, and the office bearers of the Supreme Court Bar Association will be members, and he will decide who will be benefiting from this money collected and how it is to be benefited, whether it is to be given at the time of death of lawyers, or whether it is to be given for medical insurance, or whether it can be given even in times of distress. All that will have to be decided by that committee. So it's a very welcome step that Supreme Court has issued notice on our petition, has entertained our petition, seeing the legislative vacuum, and Ministry of Law and Justice and even the Supreme Court of India have been noticed. And we are hopeful that very soon we will have in place a separate welfare stamp for Supreme Court lawyers, so that their interest can be protected at times of distress for them.